A cold voice echoed in the dark room. Subject: humans. Status: arrival confirmed on Deathworld X9. Observation begins now. Inside a massive alien ship, glowing blue eyes watched many screens. Creatures from different galaxies sat around. A table. This was the Council of Worlds, the rulers of the galaxy. They had one job today: to observe humans. A tall insect-like alien said, "Let's see how long they last. 6 hours, maybe less." All of them laughed, but down on the planet, something else had already started. The sky of Deathworld X9 was always red. Black clouds moved fast. Thunder roared like a monster's growl. This planet was not made for life. It was made for death. Suddenly, 5 fireballs came down from the sky. These were not meteors, they were drop pods. Inside them were human soldiers. One of them, Captain Rhea, opened her eyes as the pod shook violently. "Brace for landing," she shouted. Seconds later, the pod crashed on the rocky ground with a loud boom. The door opened. Smoke came out. Rhea stepped out first. She looked around. Burning trees. Rivers of lava. Strange shadows moving in the mist. She clicked her comms. "Team, report in." One by one, the other pods landed and opened. 4 soldiers came out: Jackson, Lynn, Amir, and Brooks. "Still alive," said Jackson, smiling. "That's a good start," Rhea nodded, but her face was serious. "This isn't training. This is survival." Just then, a loud roar came from the mountains. Everyone froze. Out of the mist came a creature with 6 legs, long claws, and glowing yellow eyes. It was taller than a tank. The soldiers raised their weapons. But it was too fast. The beast leapt and landed on Brooks. He screamed, but it was over in seconds. Blood splashed on the rocks. "Fire!" Rhea shouted. Bullets hit the beast's skin. It barely slowed down. Finally, Lynn threw an energy grenade. It exploded under the monster, and the blast pushed it back into a lava stream. The creature melted with a terrifying screech. Silence followed. Brooks was gone. Amir whispered, "What is this place?" Rhea looked at the smoke rising from the lava. "Hell, this is hell." Far above, the alien council watched silently. "Interesting," said the insect alien. "1 dead, but 4 remain. They fight well." A reptilian alien hissed, "They are not supposed to adapt this fast." But the leader, a shadowy figure, said nothing. He simply stared at the screen showing Rhea's face. Back on the ground, the humans began setting up camp. They found broken metal pieces from old structures. "It looked like someone or something had tried to live here long ago," Jackson said. "Let's build a shelter before nightfall. I don't want to see what comes out after dark." Using scrap metal and shields from the pods, they built a small bunker. Not perfect, but safe enough. As they rested, Amir noticed strange marks on the rocks near the river. He touched them. "They look like writing," he said. Rhea looked closely. The letters were faded, but one word was clear: Earth. Her eyes widened. "What the hell is this doing here?" That night, storms hit hard. Red lightning lit up the sky. The ground shook. Strange howls echoed from the mountains. Inside the bunker, Rhea recorded a message on her log device. "Day 1. Private Brooks is dead. The planet is more dangerous than we expected, but we're alive, for now." Suddenly, the motion detector beeped. Something was moving outside. The team raised their weapons and stared at the small screen, showing outside visuals. But there was nothing there. Then, knock. Knock. 2 soft knocks on the metal wall. No wind. No rain. Just 2 knocks. Like a human hand. Everyone froze. Amir whispered, "It can't be. Rhea slowly moved toward the door. She opened a small viewing slit. Nothing. But on the ground, in the dirt, someone had written a word with a finger. "Leave," up in the alien ship. The council watched this scene in silence. The shadow leader finally spoke. "They're not just surviving. They are learning, observing, adapting. The reptile alien asked, "Should we stop the test?" "No," the leader said. "Now we watch what humans really are." He leaned forward and smiled. "Let the Deathworld teach them ... or fear them." The sun on Deathworld X9 never truly rose. It only glowed weakly behind thick clouds, casting a red and gray light across the dead landscape. The air was sharp, and every breath tasted like metal. The night had been long, filled with strange whispers outside the bunker. None of the humans had slept properly. Even the fire they kept burning inside gave little comfort. Captain Rhea stood near the bunker door, staring at the dirt where the word "leave" had been written just hours ago. The wind had wiped it away now, but the message still lived in her mind. Something, or someone, had written it. And it wasn't any of them. Jackson checked the motion scanner again. No movement, all clear. Those words didn't write themselves. Lynn muttered. "Or maybe something out there thinks like us," Amir added, looking nervous. Rhea didn't answer. She just clipped her rifle to her back and picked up her scanner. "We move out in 10. We find food, water, anything that helps us stay longer. And if we see whatever wrote that message, we don't run." They stepped into the broken wilderness. Strange trees, black and twisted, leaned in odd directions. The ground cracked under every step. Insects the size of fists crawled under the rocks. The silence wasn't peaceful. It was waiting, watching. An hour into the exploration, Lynn spotted movement on a distant hill. A four-legged creature, dark and bony, with long arms that dragged on the ground. It moved like it was broken, but fast. When it saw them, it didn't attack. It vanished into the rocks. Jackson raised his gun. "You saw that, right?" "Yes," Rhea replied, "but it didn't charge us." "They're watching," Amir said, voice low, "just like the Council is." Back on the alien ship, the Council of Worlds continued their observations. They zoomed in on the humans' path. The shadowy leader stood silently, fingers together, eyes locked on the screen. The other aliens were no longer amused. "The humans are spreading," one hissed. "They were supposed to die quickly." Another replied, "They've already learned to hunt the local animals." "Look at this." On the screen, the humans approached a wide pit where one of the flying beasts from yesterday circled overhead. Rhea took aim with her rifle. A single shot dropped the creature mid-air. It hit the ground with a thud. "That's the third one they've taken down," said an alien observer. "Adapting." "Or evolving?" whispered the shadow leader. Meanwhile, on the surface, Rhea and her team examined the creature. Its skin was thick, but not bulletproof. Its blood hissed as it touched the dirt. "This could be meat," Jackson said, poking the creature with his blade. "Or poison." "We test," Rhea replied. "Cut some off, burn it, watch it." The team set up a small fire and roasted a piece. The smell was awful, but no smoke came, no strange reaction. Amir tried a small bite and waited. Nothing happened. "Tastes like burnt rubber," he said. "But I think I'll live." Just as they packed up, a sound echoed from behind a rock wall. It wasn't an animal growl. It was a voice, a human voice. "Help ... Please ... someone. Help me ... All four soldiers froze. Rhea stepped forward, gun raised. "That's not possible," Lynn whispered. "There were only 5 of us. Brooks was dead. No one else had come." Still, the voice continued. "Help me ... It's cold. I'm lost ... Please ... Rhea walked slowly toward the rocks. The voice was coming from inside a narrow cave. It was dark. No heat signatures showed up on the scanner. But the voice, soft, broken, full of pain, continued. "It sounds like Brooks," Amir said. "It's not him," Rhea said firmly. The moment they reached the mouth of the cave, the voice stopped. Silence again. Rhea shined her light inside. The beam showed only stone and dust. But just before she turned back, something moved inside. Not a person. A shape, thin and long, crawling along the wall like a shadow come to life. The team backed away slowly. "That was a trap," Rhea said, as they moved back. They heard another sound, not a voice, but clicks. Dozens of small clicks. From all around. Then they saw them. Not beasts, not animals, but creatures shaped like shadows, crawling on walls, hanging from trees. Their eyes were like wet glass, and they clicked their long fingers as they moved. "They've been following us since." "The bunker," Lynn said. "They waited," Rhea whispered. "They were hunting us, like we hunted their kind." "Do we run?" Amir asked. "No," she said. "We give them a reason to fear us." What followed was chaos. Gunfire cracked through the dead forest. Shadows leapt from trees, but energy. Grenades lit up the ground like daylight. Jackson swung his rifle like a club when they got too close. Lynn used her knife with brutal speed. Amir, usually the quiet one, screamed as he fired into the black mass, and then silence again. The creatures were gone, but so was their way back. Smoke covered the sky now, and their tracker was broken. They were lost in the world they were sent to die on. Rhea wiped the blood from her arm. "We came to survive," she said, breathing hard. "Now we fight." Far above, the Council of Worlds stared at the scene. "These are not prey," one alien finally said. "No," the Shadow Leader replied. "They are becoming Deathworlders." And deep in the cave where the voice had come from, something began to wake up, something old, something that remembered Earth. There was something strange about the air that morning. Captain Rhea stepped outside the half-broken bunker and looked at the red sky. A low humming sound floated in the wind, soft, like a machine breathing. The ground beneath her boots was warm. Too warm. Behind her, Amir sat against a wall, clutching his stomach. His skin was pale, but his eyes had started to glow faintly, just for a moment, before fading again. Jackson noticed it first. "Did anyone else see that?" he asked. "His eyes. They're not normal." "He was bitten," Lynn said, loading her weapon. "Something out there touched his blood. Now it's touching his body." Rhea knelt beside Amir. "How do you feel?" "I feel cold and hot at the same time," he whispered. "But I can hear things. The wind speaks now, the rocks. They hum." No one responded. Not because they didn't believe him, but because deep inside, they did. And that was worse. Last night's battle had left more than just wounds. Something in the forest, in those black-skinned shadow creatures, had marked them. Even though they had killed many, the sense of being watched never stopped. Rhea had slept with her gun clutched in her hand. When she did sleep, she dreamed of fire, and faces. Strange faces, familiar and alien at the same time. "We need answers," she finally said. "There's a pattern to this place. It's not just death, it's memory." Jackson raised an eyebrow. "Memory?" Rhea nodded. "Those carvings we found. That word, Earth. This planet knows us. And if Amir is changing, it means this world is responding to us." "You think it's alive?" Lynn asked. "No," Rhea said, standing. "I think it remembers." They moved northeast that day, following a strange signal Lynn had picked up during the storm. The path took them across dead rivers and through sharp cliffs. Everything on Deathworld X9 felt like it had been broken in a war a long time ago. As they climbed a ridge, a structure appeared on the horizon. Not alien, not natural, but clearly human. A large metallic dome, half buried in dust and vines, stood silent at the base of a crater. "It looks like a bunker," Jackson said. "No," Amir whispered. "It's older. Much older." They entered through a broken hatch. Inside, lights flickered on by themselves. The walls were scratched and dusty. Human writing appeared on signs. Base Echo 7, Terraform Project Alpha, year 2098. "That's over 300 years ago," Rhea whispered. "This planet was visited by Earth. Before the council, they reached a control room. Everything was broken, except one thing, a glowing black cube in the center of the table. It pulsed with a slow heartbeat of light. Rhea reached for it, but as her fingers touched the surface, the cube opened with a hiss. From inside came a soft voice. Identity match, Earth species. Welcome back, Captain. All 4 soldiers jumped. The cube projected a hologram, a glowing face old and calm. I am a I Unit Sigma. Last operator disconnected 317 years ago. Project, Second Earth. Status, failed. Lynn stepped forward. You're an Earth AI? Why are you here? The Aya's eyes turned to her. Earth's dream was to build a new world. Deathworld X9 was not always like this. We terraformed it. It was beautiful once, green, alive. Then what happened? Jackson asked. The council happened, the AI replied. They saw Earth's success. They feared it. They bombed the sky. They poisoned the rivers. They sent monsters from their worlds. And they buried the truth. The room fell silent. Even the humming stopped. You were never meant to arrive here, the AI continued. They sent you here as a joke, a test. But this planet remembers its creators. And now, it is awakening. Rhea stepped back. You mean, it's helping us? The AI flickered. Not helping, reacting. Your bodies are changing. Your minds are. Syncing with this world, you will adapt. Or die. As they exited the bunker, the wind had changed again. The trees bent slightly in their direction, like bowing. Suddenly, Amir fell to his knees. His hands trembled. His skin cracked like stone, but instead of blood, faint green light pulsed beneath the skin. I can feel everything, he said. I know where the predators are. I know where the tunnels go. I can feel the machines under the ground. This world is talking to me. No more missions, Rhea said. No more surviving. Now we find the truth. And far away, above the clouds, in the Council's high orbit ship, panic had begun. One of the alien watchers screamed. They found the AI. They know. Another hissed. This world was locked. They weren't supposed to find the core. But the shadow leader stood quietly, watching Amir on the screen. They are changing, he said. And now, we face something far worse than humans. His voice turned cold. We face humans who belong. Asterisk, it had been only 1 hour since they spoke to the AI, but time felt heavy now. The kind of heavy that comes when you realize everything you knew was a lie. Captain Rhea walked ahead in silence. Behind her, Amir staggered slightly as he walked, his skin still glowing faintly under the cracks, his breathing deeper, slower, like someone becoming something else. Lynn and Jackson stayed close to him, hands near their weapons, unsure whether they were protecting him or preparing to shoot. The wind had changed again. It no longer felt like it was just moving through the air. It circled them, followed them, whispered through the trees with voices that didn't belong. They returned to the bunker just before dusk. The red sky above was beginning to pulse darker, like it had a heartbeat of its own. Thunder rolled somewhere. In the distance, not sharp but deep, like the groan of an ancient beast beneath the planet's surface. Inside the bunker, the IS cube pulsed softly. It had followed them, floating like it had a mind, a loyalty, a memory. I have accessed deeper files, the eye said, its voice calm. There is more for you to see. Rhea sat down slowly. Show us everything. The hologram reappeared. This time, it showed a map, not of the stars, not of Earth, but of X9, the Deathworld. Except the planet looked different. Green, blue rivers, giant forests, skies filled with flying cities. This was Project Second Earth, terraforming complete, 212 years after arrival. Human colonies were to be launched from Mars to populate the surface, but the Council found out. They sent bioweapons. monsters, climate disruptors. They silenced the project and erased the records. Lynn leaned forward. Why didn't Earth fight back? They tried. But Earth was still rebuilding after the solar wars, and the Council used a new weapon, memory wiping across time. Jackson frowned. You're saying they didn't just destroy the planet? They erased its existence? Exactly, said the Eye. Even Earth forgot. The room felt colder. Something ancient had been uncovered, not bones or tech, but truth. And truth, like fire, spreads fast. There is a facility beneath your feet, the AI continued. One the Council never found. It holds something old. Something powerful. I can unlock it, but I need time. How much? Rhea asked. 72 hours. We might not survive 72 hours, Lynn muttered. Amir, sitting quietly in the corner, looked up. His eyes now glowed constantly, like green fire behind glass. They're already coming, he said, voice deeper. I can feel them. Far. Above, in the cold heart of space, the Council of Worlds was no longer calm. The screen showed Rhea and her team standing around the AI. The cube had been a forgotten relic, one no one thought would survive. The fact it had activated, that it remembered humans, was terrifying. They know, said the reptilian alien. They know what we did. They will talk, said another. They'll tell Earth. Then we silence them again. The insect-like one hissed, but the shadow leader raised a hand. His voice was quiet, but dangerous. No, not yet. They've touched something we never could. The planet responds to them, but not to us. We need to see how far it goes. You want to risk everything? I want to understand them, the shadow leader said. We called it a Deathworld, but perhaps it was simply waiting for them. On the surface, the bunker shook violently. The walls rattled. The fire went out. They're here, Amir said. But not to kill us, to watch. The team grabbed their weapons. Rhea looked at the AI. Start the countdown. Whatever's down. There, unlock it. Countdown initiated. 72 hours until access. Suddenly, the floor below their feet shifted. A giant stone panel slid open. A dark spiral staircase appeared, going deep into the earth. Rhea looked at her team. We go down. The stairs were old. Dust filled their throats. But something pulled them lower, not gravity but curiosity. Or fate. At the bottom, they entered a massive chamber. Machines stood in silence, covered in vines, still glowing with power. On the far wall, ancient writing shined with green light. Amir touched it. The wall opened. Behind it was a chamber of mirrors. But these mirrors showed memories. Rhea saw cities she had never visited. Faces she had never met. A baby being held. A family running under stars. Soldiers dying to protect someone who looked like her. These are our ancestors, she whispered. They are us, said Amir. And we are them. The AI spoke again, now directly through the walls. The facility is a genetic vault. It holds blueprints for everything Earth once was. Plants, animals, cultures, defense systems, weapons. Your DNA unlocks it. What kind of weapons? Jackson asked. The kind that made Earth impossible to conquer. Rhea turned to her team. Then we bring them back. That night, outside the bunker, shadows gathered again. Not creatures, not yet, but observers. Watching, waiting. Inside, the countdown continued. 70 hours remained, but for the first time since arriving on Deathworld X9, Captain Rhea no longer felt like a survivor. She felt like a soldier with a purpose, and Earth's forgotten weapon was almost awake. The wind on Deathworld X9 had changed again. It no longer screamed like it used to, it whispered. It spoke in broken voices, as if the planet itself was trying to remember how to talk. The trees bent toward the bunker. The shadows no longer ran. They waited, watching. Inside the underground vault, Buried deep beneath the cursed soil, something had come alive. The walls glowed with soft green veins. The old machines breathed again. Dust fell from the ceiling as gears turned slowly, grinding against decades of silence. Captain Rhea stood in front of a large control panel. Her hand hovered above a glowing circle. It pulsed like a heartbeat. The IS voice echoed from every corner of the chamber. Power system stable. Genetic match confirmed. Vault core opening in 5, 4, 3. A deep hiss filled the chamber. Steam poured out from hidden vents. Slowly, a heavy metal door unsealed itself, revealing a long hallway lit by floating drones. Inside, rows of strange machines, weapons, armor, and data capsules. These are not just weapons, the IA explained. These are the forgotten teeth of Earth. Rhea stepped forward slowly, eyes scanning every detail. One of the machines resembled a suit, not armor, but something more. It wrapped around a body like skin. The material shimmered, adapting to her heat, her breath, her presence. She reached out and touched it. The suit moved. It unfolded like it was waking up from sleep. Without a word, it climbed up her arm, wrapping itself around her torso, legs, neck, smooth, fast. Light dot and then at lock dot her eyes flashed. Data poured into her mind. Maps, satellite access codes, weapon systems, energy patterns from orbit. She staggered for a moment, overwhelmed. What is this? She breathed. Combat weave neural mesh, the II replied. Designed for Earth's elite defenders. It learns with you. Lynn stepped forward and touched a second suit. It responded instantly, bonding to her like it had been waiting. Jackson did the same. Amir didn't need to. His body had already changed. The planet itself had made him something different, something more. Rhea stood taller now. She could feel the weight of the war coming, and for the first time she wasn't afraid. We're not lab rats anymore, she said. We're weapons. Above the planet, inside the massive cold ship of the Council of Worlds, alarms began to flash. Energy spike detected on X9. Old Earth tech is active. Satellite control breach. Repeat. Human interference in orbit. The Council was no longer amused. They were no longer watching a test. They were watching a rebellion. The Shadow Leader stood in silence. His glowing eyes locked on a screen showing Rhea in her new armor. They've unlocked it, he said softly. The core was real. And now it belongs to them. The other aliens hissed, shouted, panicked. This changes everything. They can broadcast. They can call for help. No, the Shadow Leader said. They won't call. They'll strike. Back on the surface, the humans moved quickly. With the II's guidance, they reactivated a signal tower buried beneath the hills. Long metal arms rose from the ground, covered in vines and dust. With a loud hum, the tower connected to an old satellite in orbit, a forgotten weapon platform once meant to defend Earth's colonies. The satellite blinked. It recognized the signal. It obeyed. Rhea stood near the tower, watching the data stream flow through her visor. Can we talk to them? Jackson asked. No, she said. We don't talk. We show them. Within minutes, they took control of the orbital platform's cameras and lasers. With a thought, Rhea aimed them at one of the Council's hidden surveillance ships watching from the atmosphere. She whispered just one word. Fire. The sky tore open. A clean white beam of light shot down from the heavens, silent and fast. In seconds, the Council ship was gone, vaporized. No sound. No warning, just ash in the clouds. Jackson's mouth fell open. We just killed them, not them, Rhea said coldly. Just their eyes. They looked up into the sky. Somewhere beyond the red clouds, the Council now knew they had lost control. Later that night, around a small fire outside the bunker, the humans sat together in silence. Rhea stared into the flames, the suit still wrapped around her like a second skin. Amir sat cross-legged on a rock, his eyes glowing steady now, no longer painful. "I'm not sick," he said quietly. "I'm just different." Rhea nodded. "You were the first. The planet chose you. Or maybe it remembers me," he replied. "Maybe it remembers all of us." Lynn looked up at the sky. "Do you think Earth will ever know that we were here, that we fought?" "They will," Rhea said. "When we take this world back. When we use everything in this vault. When the Council tries to stop us, and we destroy them." Her voice didn't shake. Not anymore. She stood, holding a glowing weapon, old Earth tech reborn in her hands. "We are not just survivors, not just soldiers. We are the children of a world that refused to die. And now," she looked at the stars, "now we strike back." Asterisk, inside the black fortress that floated in space like a godless temple, the Council of Worlds had fallen into panic. For centuries, they had ruled the galaxy with silence, shadows, and fear. They crushed rebellions before they started. They erased planets from history. And when they saw Earth rising again, building in secret, dreaming of new colonies, they destroyed it all. Not with armies, but with silence. With lies. And now that silence had been broken, they fired the orbital platform, one alien shouted, its voice clicking like metal blades. It belonged to Earth. It was deactivated. How did they reactivate it? A hologram spun in the center of the chamber. It showed the moment the beam struck, clean, precise, final. The Council's scout ship had not just been hit. It had been erased. "They are using old technology," another said, wide-eyed. "Things we buried, forgotten." A third slammed its clawed hand on the table. "No, this was supposed to be a test. A joke. We sent them to die on a broken world. How is this happening?" The shadow leader stood at the far end of the room, watching the chaos in silence. "Enough," he said quietly. They all froze. He stepped forward, claws folded behind his back. His voice was calm, too calm. "You wanted a test," he said. "You got it, and you failed." The others turned to him, shocked. "They were primitive," one whispered. "They had nothing." The shadow leader's glowing eyes narrowed. "You gave them a death world. You gave them monsters. You gave them forgotten technology. You gave them fire. And then you waited, laughing, while they turned that fire into a sword." The room went quiet. He turned to the map. The planet X9 now glowed in a new way. Signals flickered from its surface, not random pulses but structure. Intelligence. Command. They have taken the vault. Activated the AI. Claimed the suits. Rebuilt the signal tower. They have restarted the project we destroyed. The room darkened. A second hologram appeared, this one a live feed. Captain Rhea stood at the edge of a cliff on X9. Wind blowing around her, the planet glowing behind her like a red sun. Her voice came through the speakers. "You wanted to see what we are, so look. We are what happens when you push too hard. When you lie too long. When you forget what fear feels like. You thought this planet would break us. But it remembered us. And now, so will you." The broadcast ended. The silence afterward was worse than shouting. Back on Deathworld X9, the humans were preparing. The AI had unlocked the final sections of the vault. Inside were not just weapons, but messages. From scientists, soldiers, children. Earth colonists who had lived here before the Council came. They had recorded everything. Their dreams, their hopes, their deaths. Rhea sat inside a command chamber made from old metal and newer energy. She watched the videos one by one. "We thought we could build something better here," one old man said, his eyes tired. "No politics, no war, just peace. Just humanity." "They came at night," whispered a woman in another video. "We didn't understand at first. Then we saw the ships. The sky was fire. If anyone ever finds this," a teenage girl said, her voice shaking, "please remember us. Please finish what we started." Rhea didn't cry. She hadn't cried since the first day on this planet. when Brooks had died screaming. But her hands tightened into fists. Amir entered quietly. His transformation was complete now. His skin lined with faint glowing symbols. His breath in sync with the heartbeat of the world. "They're scared," he said. "I can feel them up there." "Good," Rhea replied. "Let them feel something for once." Lin entered behind him. "We picked up something strange on the deep scanners. Not alien, human." Everyone turned. "Repeat that," Rhea said. "There's a ping coming from deep space," Lin said. "A faint old Earth signal, automated. It's been bouncing for years, unnoticed." Amir touched the console. The AI scanned it. "Confirmed. Earth long-range scout satellite, pre-Council War. Still operational. They heard us." For a moment, the bunker was silent. The world itself seemed to pause. Rhea exhaled slowly. "Then let's speak louder." On Earth, hundreds of light years away, inside a forgotten orbital listening station, a technician blinked in disbelief. "Sir, you might want to see this. It's an Earth signal, coming from a planet that doesn't exist on our maps." The commander leaned over the console. The message played again. Captain Rhea's voice, clear as day. "This is Captain Rhea, Human Expeditionary Forces. Planet code, X9. Class 0 Deathworld. We are alive. The Council lied. Earth's project was real. We found it, we reclaimed it, and now we are taking it back." Back on the Council ship, alarms screamed. "They've contacted Earth," one shouted. "They're waking the old alliances." The Shadow Leader stood still. "They are no longer hum." For centuries, Deathworld X9 had been forgotten, a graveyard of Earth's ambition, poisoned by the Council's fear. But now the planet was awake, not just breathing, not just moving. It was alive again. The old machines hummed beneath the surface like a sleeping beast stirring. Mountains vibrated as long-buried weapons slowly came back online. A signal burned through space, reaching across the stars, pulling eyes toward a world long erased from the maps. And in the middle of it all stood Captain Rhea, no longer a soldier abandoned to die. She was something new, something built from ashes. Pain, memory, and vengeance. The bunker was no longer a shelter. It had become a command center. Screens covered the walls, showing energy flows, satellite feeds, Council ship movement, Earth's response transmissions, all blinking like fireflies on the edge of war. Amir stood near the core. His body was no longer entirely human. The planet had accepted him, changed him, gave him control over its hidden systems. His voice now carried through the walls without speaking. He was more than a man. He was the interface between Earth's past and its broken future. "We have 32 Council ships in orbit now," Lin said. Her new armor gleamed like liquid metal, shaped by the planet's forgotten tech. "They're surrounding us." Rhea didn't blink. "Let them come." "Backup from Earth is still weeks away," Jackson reminded her. "We don't have time to wait." Rhea's eyes were fixed on the sky. "We're not waiting." She walked to the edge of the bunker's main platform. The valley below them, once black and lifeless, was now glowing. Giant cannons made of stone and steel rose from the earth like angry gods. Defense towers hummed. Drones hovered in silence, awaiting orders. The entire planet had become a weapon. The AI's voice echoed through the base. Planetary grid, fully active. Shield dome, 97%. Deep core fusion cannons, ready. Human DNA verified. Earth restoration code accepted. Command transfer. Captain Rhea, you now speak for X9. Above, in the cold, black silence of space, the Council fleet stood like a wall of teeth, sharp, cold, without mercy. Inside the command ship, the Shadow Leader stared at the surface of the planet, his glowing hands resting against the glass. "They have built a fortress," one officer said. "They didn't build it," he replied. "They uncovered it." The Hologram flickered again, showing Ria's last broadcast, her voice carried without fear. You erased our history. You broke our world. You turned us into myths. And now, we will make you remember. The Shadow Leader turned to his generals. Burn the planet. No survivors, no signals. End it before Earth can respond. The order was given. The Council ships charged their weapons. Back on X9, alarms screamed. Orbital strikes incoming. Lynn shouted. The sky darkened. Ria didn't run. She didn't flinch. She raised her hand. Shield dome. Full power, the AI confirmed. A ripple spread across the sky, like heat over metal. The energy dome snapped into place just as the first beam struck. The force of the blast shook mountains, but the shield held. More fire came. More screaming light from above. But the planet did not fall. Instead, it answered. From beneath the earth, cannons rose. From the oceans, hidden submarines launched missiles made from storm and silence. The sky turned into a battlefield of light. One by one, Council ships exploded. Clean, surgical, like they were being erased by a planet that had learned to be patient with its revenge. Ria watched with cold eyes. Jackson laughed in disbelief. We're doing it. We're actually doing it. No, Ria said softly. The planet is doing it. We're just finishing what it started. Inside the Council command ship, fire danced through the halls. Systems failed. Alarms howled like wounded beasts. The Shadow Leader stood alone now, watching, afraid. Just understanding. This world, he whispered. It didn't die, it evolved. He closed his eyes as the light swallowed the ship. Silence returned. The Council fleet gone. The sky cleared. Above the ashes, the stars blinked peacefully. Unaware of the war just fought below, the AI spoke softly. Hostile presence eliminated. Status: victory confirmed. Inside the command center, no one cheered, no one danced. They just stood and breathed. Ria walked outside. The wind was cool now, fresh, almost kind. She looked across the valley, then up at the sky. Did Earth hear us? Jackson asked. Amir nodded. Yes, and they're coming. Ria smiled for the first time in days. They'll come expecting survivors, she said. Let's show them what we really are. Lynn stepped beside her. And what's that? Ria turned to her, to all of them, and answered without hesitation. We are Deathworlders. And this world is home. Epilogue. Weeks later, Earth ships arrived. They didn't find a wreck. They found towers. They found systems stronger than anything Earth still had. They found humans walking side by side with the world itself, breathing in sync with it, fighting like it, healing it. And they found a message carved into the mountainside for every traveler to see. This planet remembered us, and we remembered who we are.